As-Salaam-Alaikum Family. This is your brother Malcolm Flex, and I'm back with another video. This one is titled Leaders of the Counter-Revolution, Agents or Idiots. Now, if you're a part of any black organization and you consider yourself conscious or woke, you are pretty familiar with J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI, who implemented the COINTELPRO, the counterintelligence program. You are also familiar with CIA tactics to assassinate leaders, domestic and foreign or abroad. And this isn't a new subject. You know what I mean? But I think it is something highly underestimated. So the Nation of Islam has not only been under assault from the Zionist-controlled media, even from right-wingers and left-wingers, Republicans and Democrats, but we've also been coming under assault from members of our own black community. Okay? So a lot of us, or some of us, weren't born in the 1960s during the counterintelligence program under J. Edgar Hoover. And his plot to dismantle all black organizations such as, the Black Panther Party, Nation of Islam, etc., etc. But we know for a fact that they have played a major part in assassinations, assassination attempts, propaganda, media propaganda, sending anonymous letters, trying to discredit and dismantle black organizations in efforts to prevent the rise of a black messiah. They even went so far as to create counter-revolutions against the revolution. Okay? So, I'm thinking for individuals to attack the Nation of Islam in this era, although we are not a perfect people, but we strive to do our best in helping and aiding the black community, and not just only the black community, but other communities as well, where there are considered oppressed or minority people. Okay? So we have individuals who are constantly on an attack, spewing lies, hatred, misinformation, trying to discredit and dismantle the Nation of Islam, and also they try to cause division in our ranks. So I would like to read something out of a book called Understanding the Assault on the Black Man, Black Manhood, and Black Masculinity, referring to this topic, and I will also show you a few video clips after this as well. I want to take you to page 45, okay? And it's talking about President Clinton's active support of black-on-black terrorism, okay? And I want to show you how the American government, with the criminal arm called the CIA, uses other black people who to rival black organizations, groups, and movements to deter black revolution in this country or black nationalism. Okay? So I'm going to read this, family, and please be patient with your brother, because I also have some video clips that I would love for you to see and bear witness for yourself. Okay? So it says, President Clinton's active support of black-on-black terrorism. President Clinton continued Bush's policy of returning fleeing Haitians back to Haiti, where they faced the terror of anti-Aristide death squads that reportedly raped, tortured, and murdered supporters of the populist, democratically elected president. These death squads were established, financed, and supported by U.S. intelligence. Michael Francois, Chief of National Police, 1991 through 1994, under General Cedras, terrorized the Haitian people, killing 4,000 according to some reports. He was on the CIA payroll, according to award-winning journalist of the nation, Alan Nair. Nair won a George Polk Award for his reporting on Haiti and the CIA, where he broke the story of the direct links between U.S. intelligence agencies and Haitian paramilitary death squads. Okay, family? So why is America helping and funding Haitian paramilitary death squads? With Aristide in exile, the moral and the will of his populist movement back home was broken by the U.S. government, specifically the Clinton administration, through terror. When President Clinton gave his national Haiti address from the Oval Office on September 15, 1995, announcing that he ordered U.S. military intervention in Haiti to stop the reign of terror from the paramilitary death squads under the command of General Cedras, what the American people were unaware of was that many of the officials whom Clinton was claiming to be fighting were actually his employees. Listen. While Clinton invaded Haiti in 1994 under the pretense of reinstalling President Aristide in the democratically elected government, he was covertly supporting the violent right-wing opposition. See, devil is playing both sides. A wonderful example of this Clinton double talk or double cross in the USS Harlan County affair on October 7, 1993. The USS Harlan County was a naval ship carrying 200 American and Canadian military personnel sent to Haiti to assist in the reinstallation of President Aristide and the transition back to democracy. The ship was prevented from docking in Port-au-Prince by a violent machete-wielding mob led by Emmanuel Toto Constant. And I'm going to show you a video of Emmanuel Toto Constant once I get done reading, proving what I'm about to say. Okay? So, the ship was prevented from docking in a Port-au-Prince by a violent machete-wielding mob led by Emmanuel Toto Constant, founder of the notorious paramilitary death squad, the same paramilitary death squad that the Clinton administration was funding. The one they were working for them. Okay? It says, okay, founder of the most notorious paramilitary death squad, the Front for the Advancement and Progress of Haiti, also known as FRAF. This first step of Clinton's democratic mission was thus a failure, except it was not. It was a complete success. Toto Constant was on the payroll of both the Defense Intelligence Agency and the Central Intelligence Agency. His group, FRAF, which was responsible for hundreds, if not thousands, of murders and rapes of Aristide supporters, received covert shipments of U.S. arms at least into 1993. As the New York Times reported, the leader of one of Haiti's most infamous paramilitary groups was a paid informer of the Central Intelligence Agency, also known as the CIA, for 2 years and was receiving money from the United States while his associates committed political murders and other acts of repression. Government officials said today Emmanuel Toto Constant, the head of the organization known as FRAF, was on the CIA's payroll in October 1993 when his group organized a violent demonstration that prevented the docking of the Navy ship Harlan County. The official said it was not clear why the payments to Mr. Constant continued after his group had played the leading role in temporarily derailing the Clinton administration's policy towards Haiti. But it in fact is clear why these payments continue. While the Clinton administration was publicly supportive of the Democratic presidency of Aristide and the wishes of the Haitian people, he called the invasion operation Uphold Democracy. It covertly supported the opposition, Toto Constant, and worked to literally crush the populist wishes of the people. What was Clinton's strategic interest in supporting the right-wing terrorist opposition? Toto Constant himself informs us that the U.S. Defense Attaché in Haiti, Colonel Patrick Collins, instructed him to oppose the populist majority in order to balance the Aristide movement, to counter and quell the populism in particular, and to put Aristide in a weakened position when he is returned to power. By supporting FRAF, the U.S. increased its bargaining power in negotiations with President Aristide. The Clinton administration was pressuring Aristide to reject the original populist plan of wealth redistribution. 20% of the Haitian households accounted for 60% of the country's total income, and to accept the IMF, World Bank austerity and privatization program that will benefit the country's elite and foreign investors but ruin the masses economically. The Clinton administration purposely fomented violent discord in the country by supporting the terrorist opposition in order to ensure that President Aristide was compliant once he got back in office. He was. Family. So, I want you to take a look at this short clip of Toto Constant confessing after the CIA and the American government turned their backs on him. See, he sold out. The man was a traitor. The man sold out against his own people. And look what the white man did to him after he sold out.
With the CIA. Why are you telling us now about your CIA involvement?
I'm in jail. I've been betrayed. I've been humiliated. And I think it's about time for the world and the American public to know.
So says the CIA first reached out for him in 1991 after he became an advisor to his childhood friend, General Raul Cedras. He said he was given a code name, Gamal, and an agency walkie-talkie so the CIA could summon him at a moment's notice. And he says he went on the payroll at around $700 a month.
How did you get paid? U.S. currency, in cash.
From the Station G?
Yeah, from him.
And early on, he said the CIA encouraged him to provide damaging information about Aristide. Turn Aristide as president. But undercover, working as a secret ally of the CIA, whose officers, he says, didn't want Aristide back.
But what you're saying is that the White House had one policy.
People, to frighten people, and yes, kill people. And
I was meeting with the CIA on a regular basis. We had an understanding, we had an alliance. So if I'm guilty of those crimes that they're accusing me of, the CIA is also guilty.
Because they knew what you were doing?
Because they knew exactly what I was doing.
So now we back. And now let's talk about another revolutionary. Another well-known, loved, and respected Black African nationalist by the name of Patrice Lumumba. Patrice Lumumba was our dear brother who was from the Congo, who became the first democratic prime minister of the Congo, and he took over leadership from Belgium. And he wanted to use the natural resources of his country to enrich and empower the Congo people, his own people. But he was upsetting a lot of the people in the Western world. He already upsetted the Belgium. They wanted to kill him. And he already upsetted the American government and the president. And they too wanted to kill him because he was messing up their own national interests. Belgium had colonized the Congo and committed all types of brutality against the Congolese people, and America had a hand in it. Okay? And the brother stood up in front of the international world and exposed to the whole world what happened. And most of white people that were there, more specifically the Belgium and the Americans and the UN, because the UN did not protect our dear brother, Patrice Lumumba. They all played a role in the plot of assassinating our dear brother. America gave the CIA, the American government, the president gave the CIA permission to assassinate the brother. So what the CIA tried to do, but they failed, they tried to lace the brother's toothpaste with poison so it can look like he died from natural causes, something similar to polio or something like that. But they failed at that attempt. And they knew it wouldn't be that easy to assassinate this brother without making it look obvious. So guess what they did? They hired other black people, black men who looked like him. They hired some of his rivals to turn on him. Okay? And this is documented proof. This is how the enemy works. That the enemy doesn't want to come outright and try to assassinate us anymore. He's getting a little more wiser than that now. So he wants to take somebody who looks like us to do it so he don't have to get the blame. But if an unrighteous person brings you news, like Seti, young Pharoah, if an unrighteous person brings you news, look carefully into it, lest you hurt a people in ignorance. Then be sorry for what you did. The Holy Quran. So always know that the white man's hand, the enemy, or the Jews, they have a hand in what's going on. They're in the background somewhere hiding their hand. So I want to play some clips for you based on the story of our dear brother, nationalist, revolutionary, Patrice Lumumba.
That something must have been said that was either he ordered it or he was misunderstood. But certainly I believed it at the time, that it was a presidential order.
The red flag came down when the Congolese army in Leopoldville overthrew the ultranationalist Prime Minister Patrice Lumumba and expelled Moscow's diplomatic representative from the country. With Soviet documents, fly sheets and propaganda brochures burned, communist intrigues against the United Nations in the Congo have for the time being been stopped. A 30-year-old colonel, Desire Mobutu, has become the new strongman of this young republic, with the support of the majority of the Congolese army.
Mobutu had in fact been a trusted ally of Lumumba, who had appointed him head of the army only a few weeks earlier. He now declared he had deposed the Prime Minister. The officer who led the putsch was in fact the West's secret weapon against Lumumba. One of his most influential advisors was the Belgian counter-espionage officer, Colonel Marlier.
Mobutu was pro-Western, that's for sure. But apart from that, he was also manipulated by the Americans.
He was interested in dealing with the United States and having American support, and I was the person with whom he worked.
Mobutu's putsch was the prelude to a dictatorship lasting more than 30 years, from which the country has never recovered.
But Mobutu didn't do it on his own. He was helped. They came to take this country's wealth. They came to get contracts with him so they could fill their pockets and to get bigger and bigger royalties. They supported him for more than 30 years. The Americans, the Belgians, the French, and the big international companies. They didn't come to develop the country, they came to make a profit. And they made huge profits.
A new chapter begins in the dark and tragic history of the Congo with the return to Leopoldville of deposed Premier Lumumba, following his capture by crack commandos of strongman Colonel Mobutu. Taken to Mobutu's headquarters, past a jeering, threatening crowd, Lumumba, but promised the pro-red Lumumba a fair trial on charges of inciting the army to rebellion. Lumumba was removed to an army prison outside the capital, as his supporters in Stanleyville seized control of Oriental province and threatened a return of disorder. Before that, Lumumba suffered more indignities, including being forced to eat a speech, which he restated his claim to be the Congo's rightful premier. Even in bonds, Lumumba remains a dangerous prisoner, storm center of savage loyalties and equally savage opposition.
The CIA had developed a program to assassinate Lumumba under Devlin's encouragement and management. The program they developed, the operation didn't work. They didn't follow through on it. It was to give poison to Lumumba, and they couldn't find a setting in which to get the poison to him successfully in a way that it wouldn't appear to be a CIA operation. I mean, you couldn't invite him to a cocktail party and give him a drink and have him die a short time later, obviously. And so they gave up on it. They got cold feet. And instead, they handled it by the chief of station talking to Mobutu about the threat that Lumumba posed, and Mobutu going out and killing Lumumba, having his men kill Lumumba.
What about the CIA's relationship with Mobutu? Were they paying him money?
Yes, indeed. I was there in 1968 when the chief of station told the story about having been, the day before, that day, having gone to make a payment to Mobutu of cash, $25,000, and Mobutu saying, "Keep the money. I don't need it." And by then, of course, Mobutu's European bank account was so huge that $25,000 was nothing to him.
So we back, dear family. You know, it's very disheartening just to understand and find out what happened to our dear brother, Patrice Lumumba. But let's move on. How about we deal with some of our other brothers, like the Honorable Mosiah Marcus Garvey. He was another brother who was sold out by his own people, had him deported back to his homeland where he died of a broken heart. He was sold out. Okay? America, the government hated our dear brother, the Honorable Mosiah Marcus Garvey. They hated him. And they had other bourgeois Negroes opposing the brothers like W.E.B. Du Bois. But soon later, after Marcus Garvey was deported, and then W.B. Du Bois finally woke up and saw the role in which he played in getting our brother deported. But they always use people who look like you and I. Okay? Same thing with our dear brother Noble Drew Ali, another brother sold out by his own people. Okay? Same thing with our other brother, Malcolm X. I hear these brothers always want to throw up Malcolm X and always want to try to use the minister as a scapegoat, use the Nation of Islam as a scapegoat. But, I mean, if you love Malcolm so much, then why don't you ever bring up Eugene Roberts? And he was a known undercover FBI agent in New York City.
Mr. Hoover, will you have any comment at this time?
But Malcolm's message was not lost on one audience and one man in particular.
So far as the rank and file of the colored population is concerned, maybe some of them do not like the FBI.
In J. Edgar Hoover's day, the FBI got a little crazy on the subject of black people. They had Elijah Muhammad under surveillance for at least 20, 25 years. They had Malcolm under surveillance for most of his public life. When I say surveillance, I'm talking about wiretaps, I'm talking about room bugs, I'm talking about infiltrators.
You were an undercover agent for the police. He didn't know that.
No, he didn't.
And you got in close, very close. He trusted you.
I would say yes, sir.
Gene Roberts got so close that he became Malcolm X's bodyguard, even though he was really an undercover cop in the New York City Police Department.
Your job was to gather intelligence, to gather information.
Yes.
And the Bureau's mission was to keep tabs on potentially violent people?
Yes.
Why was Malcolm X considered a potentially violent, if not in fact violent person?
Well, I guess at that point in time, society wasn't ready for Malcolm X. He was saying a lot of things that society didn't want to hear at that point in time. The week before he was killed, there was a meeting at the Audubon. And I saw what I thought, and I still think, was a dress rehearsal for Malcolm's impending assassination. I called the department the following morning, and I told them that I felt that this was as I put it, a dry run. And they told me that, okay, we'll pass it on and we'd take care of it. What they did with it, I really don't know.
Why don't you ever bring up Eugene Roberts? Okay? Why don't you ever bring up the real killers of our dear brother Malcolm X? Why don't you ever condemn the American government, the FBI, and all those who admitted to involvement in the brother's death? Why are you always bringing up the nation and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, but you letting the real killers get away? And you always talking about banging on the beast. Okay? Our brother, Dr. Khaled, was condemned by the U.S. government unanimously. But you don't never bring up the U.S. government in condemnation of them who condemn the person that you said was your God. You said Dr. Khaled Muhammad was your God. So why don't you ever condemn the U.S. government who condemned him unanimously when he was really banging on the beast? The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was condemned first unanimously by the U.S. government because he was really banging on the beast. Why haven't the U.S. government condemned you unanimously? Because you ain't really banging on the beast like you think you is. You just banging on other black people. So, dear family, I ask you, I urge you to watch these individuals who come among you, come into black organizations, who pretend to be with the movement, who pretend to be with the revolution, who pretend to be with the people, for the people, but have ulterior motives, hidden agendas, getting paid by the government, getting paid by the FBI, CIA, and other government organizations. Be careful. You know what I'm saying? Be careful of the slander that they are circulating on social media about other black organizations. In 2018, we should not be attacking one another. Black people, we should not be attacking one another. Even brown people, because they was getting it too. We should not be attacking one another. So you want to put up a microscope for those who are outright attacking, going around attacking multiple groups. These dudes are attacking multiple groups, multiple black groups. After Eugene Roberts was done with his work, following and keeping tabs on Malcolm X, that traitor left that situation and then went and infiltrated the Black Panther Party. So watch out for the gaslighters. Who's using propaganda to discredit other black entities. So I just wanted to make this video short and strong, family. And I just wanted to provoke you all just to think before we react. Because we are very reactionary. We love to react. But as a Muslim, we are taught to hurl truth at falsehood until it knocks out his brains. Okay? So I'm on one. So with that being said, family, I would like to greet you as I came in the greeting words of peace. As-Salaam-Alaikum.